Most people wait 3 years for the promotion that I'm on track to get in just about half the time. I'm not necessarily smarter than them or work harder. I got hired full-time at my company just over a year ago, and I've been using a 5-step leverage system that completely ignores tenure. By the end of the video, I want to walk you guys through the exact document that'll tip the scales when it is decision time. Step 1 is that you have to have an owner's mindset. Before I was full-time, I was a contractor for a couple of years, and I was just an executor, which is more of a junior role. But as soon as I got hired, I realized that if I wanted to move the needle and I wanted to get promoted and advance in my career, executing wasn't going to be enough. I became obsessed with one question. How do I take on more responsibility and ownership of my space? Now that I was brought on full time, I had a vested interest in the direction that the team was going. I didn't want to be part of just where my team was headed. I wanted to help make those decisions. And that single mindset shift was a game changer. Instead of just taking on requests, I started to shape what requests were even being asked, goals that we were targeting, and how we were going to get there. Everywhere I could, I tried to adopt more responsibility and more ownership, which meant that I started to see a lot more opportunities for growth than I otherwise would have. And as I took on more, I naturally grew my sphere of influence. And that is step 2, to broaden your sphere of influence. Once I had a good grasp on my explicit domain, I started to look outward at the broader data science org. I want my whole org to do well and to prove that data scientists drive real business value. So I started to ask myself questions like, what problems were data scientists facing on a day-to-day basis? What processes are we stuck in because that's how things have always been done? And how do we level up to reach that next level of decision science capabilities? There were some very smart people already starting to tackle these questions, but instead of just saying, oh yeah, let them do what they're gonna do and I'll stick in my own lane, I decided to get involved. I volunteered to be a part of these projects because I wanted to contribute in any way that I could, even if it was just some small feedback that made the project even just a little bit richer. And that exact engagement got me a reputation across the org as someone who was reliable, brought real value, and was a team player. Reputation matters big time because come promotion time, it is not just your manager deciding in a vacuum if you're gonna get promoted or not. There are also other managers who are trying to promote their ICs and they need to head into a room and to deliberate. So the better reputation you have across the org and across different managers, the easier the debates are gonna go for you. The third step in this framework is to work at the next level. The mindset shift in growing your influence is going to open the door, but ultimately what's going to walk you through that door is the quality of your own work. I took a deep look at the rubric and I tried to showcase in my work the exact measures that I would be tested against come promotion time. I made sure that I was very consciously holding myself up to that standard as if I was already at the staff level, because you have to do the job before you get the job. For example, instead of just coming up with a dashboard or a report and handing it to leaders for them to come up with their own interpretation, I started to deliver clear, actionable recommendations on what the data said that we should do differently. But none of this really matters without impact. The most complicated and impressive analyses don't actually mean anything if they don't solve problems that leaders actually care about. So I started to pay very close attention to what directors, VPs, and the executive teams said they cared about. During broader team meetings, I started to listen very closely to what was top of mind for leadership? What were they concerned about? What were their problems? What direction were they headed in? And with that information, I made sure to align my work directly with their concerns wherever I could. The fourth step in this process is to make it visible. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody is around to hear it, does it really make a sound? If you do the most amazing work but nobody actually knows about it, did it actually happen? A lot of people have weird feelings about visibility because they feel like you have to be loud or play politics, but that has not been my experience at all. You for sure don't brag because nobody is gonna like that, but you should share your wins with your manager and your coworkers. To me, this is no different than telling your partner or close friend when something really cool happened to you. You're sharing it because you want to share it and experience that joy with them, not because you're trying to be performative. If you have good relationships with your managers and your coworkers, then sharing wins should feel exciting and inspiring. And it goes both ways. When a coworker comes up with something cool that they're excited about, celebrate them, enjoy it with them, be a part of that experience and have some joy. That excitement for each other's wins can foster closer bonds and make the team morale better and just make work way more enjoyable. And if your manager knows the great work you're doing, then that's what lets them go to bat for you when these promotion decisions come around. The fifth step, and this is a big one, is to keep a brag doc. You want to make your manager's life as easy as possible, and two things can be true at once. Nobody gets you promoted but you, and you are not in the room when those decisions happen. Really, nobody is going to get you promoted except yourself. It is your career, and so if you want something, you have to try to make it happen. And also, you're not the one in the room when these deliberations are happening. It is your manager who is advocating for you. So help them help you. And the best way you can do that is to give them the exact ammo, give them the exact case for why you should be promoted. That is what a brag doc or a promotion case is all about. It is a document that you keep yourself that tracks your own growth, your big wins, and your evaluation against that next level. You get to explicitly say, I did X with Y outcome, and by X, I mean I operated end-to-end ownership, which is a staff level expectation, and I am at the senior level. In this brag doc, you get to be in charge of your own career narrative and push that forward. The brag doc outlines the evidence and the clear case, so then your manager can walk into the promo deliberation rooms with a clear argument, evidence, no blind spots, and no guesswork. In summary, if you want to chase a promotion in half the time, this is the 5-step framework that works for me. 1, have an owner's mindset. 2, make sure that you have a broad sphere of influence. 3, make sure that your work quality is at that next level that you're targeting. 4, make sure that you have visibility into the awesome work that you're doing. And 5, control your own career narrative with a brag doc. One more thing that goes without saying. Be a good person. Be a good person to work with. Make sure people enjoy working with you. Don't be an asshole. That goes very much a long way. Next Sunday, I'll be breaking down my brag doc at a high level so that you guys can see what that actually looks like in practice. If you found this video useful or valuable, please consider subscribing.